Hey, good morning YouTube. I'm the Tech Prepper. Sorry it's been a few days since I've made a video, and by the time you see this it'll be another few days. We just attempted a cross-state move during this pandemic, and we moved from the city, California, I guess I'll call it the country in Arizona, and we're loving it here. We actually moved to having a small plot of land with a house on it, and our neighbors are pretty sparsely distributed around us, so it's really quite nice as opposed to the city. But the reason I'm making this video is I want to talk about RVs as prep items. And my wife and I purchased an RV about 14 or 15 months ago, primarily just to see the country and travel. And we were using it about, I think about every 3 weeks we would do a weekend trip somewhere, and we loved it. And when we moved from Arizona to California 6 months ago, we left our RV in storage. And it wasn't until this last trip, moving back from California to Arizona, where we picked up the RV. And what was interesting was we have, from our property, from home to home, or from our apartment to our new homestead, it's about 440 miles. So what we did was we took our 2 cars, we loaded them up with all the provisions. I may do a video on that loadout. And we went from San Clemente, California to Buckeye, Arizona. It was about a 6-hour drive. And the one thing that I noticed, as prepared as I am, was no public restrooms were open, not even at the gas stations. So I had to take care of business outside of a U-Haul facility by a bush. Thankfully, my wife did not have to go. But yeah, once we picked up our RV from storage, it was amazing as a prep item. So it, for us, was a home on wheels and a cache for just about a ton of items. So we had 2 big buckets of the 6-day dry food supply. The tanks were completely filled. We've got, I think it's 31 gallons of fresh, 28 gray, and I think also about 28 black tanks. And then that is a gas coach. It runs on it's on the E450 Ford chassis with the Triton V10 engine. It's a small Class C, but for us it's perfect. It's just my wife and the 2 dogs. And yeah, it was amazing to have basically a cache of water and some dry goods. Since that RV was also stored in Arizona, I was able to also always keep a couple of firearms there with an ammo can, so it was nice to have some extra personal security items. And then we have our kitchen, our bathroom, our bed, so it was very comfortable for us. So we were kind of in between homes at the time, so by the date we moved, we weren't due to close escrow for another 2 days. So staying in a local RV park was fantastic. We didn't have to deal with the hotel. So I guess that's my first point. If you have to travel during this pandemic and have the luxury of an RV, you can avoid all the social issues you could possibly run into by having an RV. And our RV is nothing fancy, but it got the job done. And yeah, it was great, even for like perishable food. So what we did is we had a 50-liter Ozark Trail cooler. We made a bunch of ice before we left, loaded up that cooler, put up all our goods. So the day of the move, the movers kind of like stayed out of our way. And then as soon as we made the 6-hour journey over, we transferred the items from the cooler into the refrigerator. Having all the extra ice helped us get the refrigerator and freezer down to temperature. I would say in about 6 hours. It was actually pretty nice. So yeah, I mean, the RV really did work out quite well for us. And in fact, this morning it was funny. I wanted to make a cup of coffee, and I do carry the instant via packets from Starbucks where you just add water, and I have a nesting cup. And I said, you know what? If the RV is right out back, so I grabbed the 5-cup small Mr. Coffee we have, the bag of ground coffee beans we have in there, I took a couple pieces of silverware out of the RV, and I was able to make myself a cup of coffee. In fact, we don't have any furniture yet, so the other problem is our movers kind of screwed us. They jacked up the price by about $1,000 after the fact, and they're going to be 3 days later than what they told us, so we don't have any furniture or any of our items for another 3 days. But we can actually now pull provisions from the RV. So our furniture in the house right now consists of our mattress from the RV in our master bedroom, with the bedding we had in there. And then we have 2 camping chairs, large ones, and a fold-out table. So that's kind of our family room setup right now. And right now, as you can see, I've got my, I think it's a zero gravity chair from REI. And you know, we're comfortable, and I can't imagine doing this trip without, hey baby, I can't imagine doing this trip without having the RV. So I don't want to make this a long video, but I do want to say there is value in having that as a recreational item, a place to make experiences. And for us, this was wonderful transition to make a 400+ mile journey. In terms of upcoming videos, they will be delayed a little bit just because we're still working on getting our satellite put in. This is a mostly off-the-grid property, but we've got a lot of fun projects. Let me see if I can pick up the camera here. So the property came with a small greenhouse, so we're gonna work on that. So there'll be some gardening, some birds in the trees. So yeah, that's the RV. So maybe I'll do a better walkthrough of our 2018 Coachman Leprechaun. Got a nice view of the Cave Creek Regional Park behind us. But yeah, this property is on a septic tank. It's on a well as well. I'm going to start with some solar projects. So there'll be a shed build with solar, some water reclamation projects I'm working on, some ham radio antennas. So I think for the preppers in mind, this may become a homesteading channel / prepper channel over the next few months. At any rate, guys, be strong, be safe, and think about getting an RV as a prep item. I know it's high dollar, but man, those things are worth their weight in gold when you need them. Take care. Bye.